Huh?
I'm gonna wing it.
Yeah, you are. You'll be great. Saying it's live streaming now on Facebook. Welcome, Miss Alena. I am so happy to have you here. Thank you for being a part of this empowered women, empowering women. I think a lot of us need to come, more of us need to come together and share our voice, which you are phenomenal at doing in such a fun and passionate way that lights people up. And you're such a great stand for freedom, which I also resonate with deeply. So I'm going to actually just go over your bio a little bit because I want to give people a background on you and who you are. And so you are a mom of two. Alena is a mom of two, studied business with a dual major in marketing and public relations, originally from Hawaii. So yeah, aloha. Me too. Both born there. And then you moved here about 15 years ago to New Zealand. And as a voice for freedom of speech, you show people how to live authentically and unapologetically. You lead by example on how to be firm and confident with who you are and what you stand for. So thank you for being here. I want to hear a little bit about your backstory of like what drives you, why you do what you do in your world, and why you're so passionate about freedom.
Oh, thank you so much. That is so sweet. I'm like, yeah, I'm those things, but when you hear it from someone else, it's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that like I found you and that we're just vibing on that same frequency.
Real.
And yeah, I mean, I pretty much just I discovered myself in little pockets along my life, and I feel like I'm becoming the person that I'm meant to be by standing up for, well, first I had to learn to stand up for myself, and now I'm moved into standing up for all of us and for what I think is right. It's not just the issues that we're going through today in this world is not personal. It's really we're on a global scale. I think that we've come head to head and we have to say and speak our minds now. There's no turning away from it and ignoring the problems.
Live. Oh, what
We're going today in this world is not personal. It's really we're on a global scale.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I had technical difficulties. Are you okay? I feel like, okay. Is it coming up all good? Okay. So guys, if you can hear me okay, give us a thumbs up to make sure. So, yeah, I agree with you. There's a global need for more of us to consciously and collectively, I don't want to say wake up, but, gain more consciousness and more owning of the truth. So how is it that you, so I one thing that I want to do on this is have you share 3 tips on how you really stand in your truth. So boldly and confidently, without, like you may have the fear, but how do you do it without giving into it? Like, I believe just last week, there was like this collage made of all these truthers. We call us ourselves basically truthers because we're spreading that truth, and you were in that, and a lot of people might like shrink away and be like, oh my gosh, like I'm getting attacked, I'm getting trolled by the trolls and like all the things. So how is it that you keep just staying firm and solid and not getting pushed over or pushed around by essentially cyber bullies?
When that came up, I was like, okay, this is interesting. Maybe I should expect this. And I did it. I got angry at first, but then you know what? It's okay. I think when people talk about what you're doing something good. You're doing something right. I mean, like if that's yeah.
Basically, if you're in their mouth and in their mind, that means you're taking up free real estate in their brain. Just saying.
Exactly, because I actually had no idea who those people were.
Yeah.
Someone private messaged me, bless her soul. She was like, did you see this? Do you know that this is going on? And I was like, no. And hey, you know what? It builds resilience. When people are talking about you, take it as a compliment. That's what I say. Or it's still not going to be easy to deal with sometimes, but for the most part, when you're standing up what's right. And we do. All of us have that moral compass. We know right from wrong. We just do. We're built with that knowledge internally. No one can tell you what's right or wrong. You figure it out and you just know. And so if we listen to that and we stand up for it, then nothing can break us. Nothing can tell you that you're not good, or you're not good enough, or you're not pretty enough, or you're not, you're not great enough to say what you think. You
Right.
can
You don't meet some sort of community coercion or societal standard of good enough. And so you're saying, so do you have like a spiritual practice or anything like that? Like sometimes people do journaling and meditations and things too. Because one thing that you touched on was your internal knowing. I truly believe that we all have an internal authority, which is an author of our lives on our inside that dictates and manifests our life. And so do you have things that you do or use to essentially like strengthen that internal authority to be like, I'm a queen. It's just the way
Yeah.
it is. So what do you do?
Yeah. There's two things I think I do, which I don't always like. I'm not doing it purposefully, but one is for sure. Every single night and every single morning, as I'm drifting off to sleep, I've got my hand on my heart, and
Mm,
it's not even really a prayer. It's like half prayer, half meditation, but I let myself sink in into the space of knowing and being. So, and I'm just repeating to myself, like, or saying something that's good for me. So
yeah,
it changes,
yeah.
as long as the saying is coming from the heart, or the great I'm gratitude, showing gratitude all the time, just before I go to sleep and as I wake up. Because we reach for our phones. Oh, sorry about that one. We reach for our phones to check the time, and so I'm changing my habits to, before I even look at the time, I need to give gratitude that I'm awake and I'm safe, and I'm here. Here I am again. I'm on earth. Like, this
Yeah.
is a miracle. We get to change the world today. And how am I going to show up today? So it's all I'm super grateful.
So I find that amongst the community of women who are, positioning themselves in a way that like we can support and empower other women, the common thread amongst all of us is gratitude.
Yeah.
And and a really healthy conversation within ourselves. Like I don't know the last time I said anything negative about myself. I have a really high confidence level. And I like, it's actually, and I feel like you do as well. And you would probably say like, you don't catch yourself saying nasty things about yourself because you're listening. And not
Yeah.
only that, you guys, your cells are listening. We are
Yeah.
listening, like our only job of ourselves is to listen to the messages from our brain. And if our brain's like, you're a loser, you suck at life, you're a bad mom, blah, 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 your cells are going to cooperate with that and be like, you're right. But if
Which
you,
is what I used to do. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Yeah.
yep, yep. And now being in this position of like, okay, I like am a gift to the world. You're welcome.
Yeah. You're welcome.
But
Yeah.
for real, and having that exuding of confidence, what that does is people are attracted to that because we know we love us. And when you love yourself, and it sounds so cheesy, right? When we love ourselves, we can actually love other people. And that's why people are drawn to really confident women like yourself. Okay, so your first tip was gratitude. So closing out or opening and closing your day with your hand on your heart. And it's not necessarily a prayer, but it's just this, it sounds like it's a conversation, right?
Yeah.
Within your being.
Yeah.
And
It's
then,
like
yeah,
however hard the day was, I'm like, thank you so much for bringing that opportunity for me to
yeah.
experience, so that I can evolve and grow past whatever that issue was.
Mm,
Same, and then when I wake up, I'm like, oh, thank you, whatever is coming my way today. I'm grateful in advance, and I pray for the best outcome of
yeah.
all situations.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting is like we are saying pretty fundamental basic things. They're like super simple, but people aren't doing it because
Mhm.
it's autonomic behavior to grab a phone first. It's automatic to do. So what needs to be shifted, and the way you shift it is with practice and like first thing you do when you wake up, open the eyes, put your hand on the heart, and you'll start forming new pathways in the brain. It's amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
so what's your second tip, love? Or
The
what are we
yeah,
on?
number two, I dance.
Yeah,
I
me
dance. Yeah,
too.
because that's my form of getting out my expression. That's when I get to be funky. That's when I get to be silly. That's when I get to be cool, groovy, whatever. All the emotions come out and I get to just release. So I think
Beautiful.
dancing is like, some people are like, oh, I don't have rhythm. Oh, I can't dance. Oh, it does not matter. Girl, you need to move your body.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I 100% agree. So the emotions literally get trapped inside of your body. Back to that cellular talk that I mentioned earlier, it gets stuck in the cells. And so when you dance, it actually moves it out on a cellular level. And so it's like, okay, I love this tip. I do it. I have this thing called M&R, which is movement and release. You do it naturally. You don't have like a thing for it. You're just like, I'm just going to get my body going. And I love that you process emotions and energy that way. And I think a lot of women could benefit from just turning on some music, grabbing the kids that are stressing you F out, and being like, let's
Making them
dance.
dance.
Yeah, let's dance together in the living room. So living room dance party, right? LDP.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All
And the
right,
kids
let's,
love it. The
they
kids love it. If
do.
you have kids, they
Mhm.
actually like to see mom relax a little bit.
And just play and have
Yeah.
fun for sure. Okay, so what's your third tip?
Okay, well, to be honest, I haven't quite thought of, those are my two main things, but I think my
Mm,
third tip would to be, in taking something good for the body. You really, like,
mm,
people need to, like, we actually have to be super conscious about what we're putting in our body, because sometimes we are lacking energy to do those things. We're lacking energy to dance, we're lacking energy to express our creative selves.
yeah.
So what are you running on? You're running on an empty tank.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, I truly believe in the power of natural supplements and
Yeah.
raising your vibration that way, because
Gosh, I love that
everything,
you touched on this. Keep
yeah,
going.
everything we're eating right now is got some type of poison or GMO or something, and it's actually quite concerning, but we
Yeah.
just don't know how bad it's gotten now.
Yeah, I love that you've touched on this because we are what we eat is not just a sentence being said. We literally take the food, and again, back to that cellular conversation, and it like either you're strengthening your cells or you're weakening them with what you consume in your body. And so it's like, and most of what we have offered as far as the food supply chain goes, even if it's a fruit and vegetable, the soil is so deficient that we're still not getting the nutrients that we need for sure. And again, it just is that cellular conversation. So I feel like you have a theme going for sure. And then have you, like, what are your, I would call your success, because one thing was like, you just stand, girl, you say what you need to say, and you voice things that other people just don't either have the courage or have the fortitude yet to stand at tall like that. So I would call that a success for you. You're amazing.
Thank
um,
you.
Yes. And like for myself, I don't know if you guys know, but I did a trip up to Auckland, got to hang out with Alena. And like,
Woohoo!
you guys hanging out in person, huh, is like next level. I
Yeah.
forgot. I didn't realize until I hugged you that I hadn't hugged really another person that was not family in a really long time. And I was like, holy crap. Like I used to just hug people all the time. So thank you for being there and like that hug and the
Oh,
time and jumping in the waterfall like that with me and going to
yeah.
Rainbows and like you are a badass and I love you and I adore you. And I'm just so blessed to be like on the same path with you.
Yeah, I love you too. My eyes are gonna water a little bit now. Yeah,
Love
I
it.
agree. I think that on on that note of like not being able to hug people, it is so important that we can keep our connection. It is so uh it's such a breath of fresh air, because I'm the same. Like, I can't remember the last person I hugged that also wasn't my family too. And isn't it significant when you can remember just that one moment? It's only like a few seconds, And
Mm.
at the entire weekend spent with the other powerful women that we got
Yeah.
to be with.
Yep.
Even I remember the
Shout
house.
out to Joanne and
Yeah,
Crystal.
Crystal. Yeah, totally love them. Uh,
Sorry, I
yeah,
cut you off. I just got excited.
no, yeah. And we need to keep our connections with each other. This is how we
Mm.
heal. Truly, this is how we show love for each other.
Yeah.
So this
On a
social
physical,
distancing,
yeah.
I do not agree with. This is,
Yeah.
this has been a massive healer. Look what it does to my heart. It makes me cry. This is a good
Yeah.
thing,
Mm. Yeah.
So I think we need more of that and less social distancing. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fascinating thing, just real quick, is oxytocin is released when you physically touch another human, and oxytocin reduces cortisol, and a reduced cortisol means you have a higher immune system. Like, it's so common sense and basic that it's
Beautiful.
actually a conspiracy now. Like, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Breathing fresh
How does that?
air is like conspiracy? What doing?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Oh,
just
mind blowing,
crazy the
eh?
amount of like questions or common sense questions that we have that can be labeled conspiracy. And that's concerning alone because it's like, so we're not allowed to ask the questions that matter. What
Mm,
is this? We have to be able to speak our minds. We have to be able to stand up
yeah.
and say, actually, I'm not quite sure about what you're saying right now. And
Yeah.
that's got to be
And
okay.
it's got to be okay that it's being challenged and questioned, and not pulling some 1984 Animal Farm George Orwell bull. Like,
Yeah,
did you
yeah,
see that plug? I'm like, go read those books, guys.
yeah,
Like,
yes.
ASAP for real. But yes, I love this that we've touched on this. So, I was going to say, I flew up to Auckland, and you guys, it is an order of this nation to travel on public transportation with a mask. I absolutely do not consent. I refused. And did that mean like I was like not scared? You guys, I literally, right before I had to hop on the plane and go see how this was all going to go down, I had the runs, like TMI for sure on Facebook, but I don't even care. I had such a bad stomach ache. And then I was shaking. My anxiety level was high. But see, courage isn't about being not scared. It's about being scared AF and doing it anyway and
Mm,
doing it anyway. And I was like, all right, I'm going up. And he was like, I didn't even barely pull out the exemption. He was like, all right, sounds good. Because he asked me, do you have your mask? And I was like, no, I have an exit. And he's like, okay, sounds good. And everybody. And I feel like that was the frequency that I was also putting out. So anybody who's wanting to go do this as well and take this, it's kind of like a silent protest,
yes,
like one person
definitely.
at a time taking a stand. Doing this, you have to have, even though you might have fear, you just know that you are a queen and you are sovereign or king in your own rights as an almighty child, as a child of an almighty king, is what I like to say. And bringing it back to God, like he is the one who decides when and how we go.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought that was beautiful.
Hmm.
And like the more people that decide, actually I don't want to wear a mask and I'm just going to carry around my exemption, the
Mhm.
more normal it can become for us to travel mask free because
Yeah.
we shouldn't have to be forced to do something we don't want to.
Or
That's me.
coerced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or coerce. We need to be able to have that freedom of choice. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what it is, but your body is your body. We need to honor that.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Beautiful. Okay. So I feel like we covered all the things. I know you have a couple of events coming up that you get to share with anybody here in New Zealand, specifically my American family. You can support us with sending us great vibes and loves. And so, yeah, can you just share where they can connect with you and learn more about what you mentioned about the intake of healthy foods? Because I know you've got some great resources for that. And then the other thing is the events that are going on.
Okay, so you can reach me on Alena Speaks Love. I don't use my last name, so it's just Speaks Love, all one word.
Yep.
And just use Facebook. I'm super contactable there. Is that a word? I don't
It's a word
know.
now.
Yeah, it's a word now.
I'm reachable there.
Reachable. So yeah, you can private message me there. I've got yeah, we've got an amazing opportunity for people to help them raise their frequency, their vibration, and how to stay empowered within themselves. It's about community. It's about sharing the love and connecting, we're tuning into ourselves, we're tuning into each other, and we're starting to look at an inward for answers and not outward. So
Yeah.
that's what.
And us ones who are going inward, we're like linking arms
Yeah,
to form, essentially, I like to call it an army of warriors of light. Like we are on a mission to like
absolutely.
get not only just money into the hands of good people, but get some serious cellular healing going on for people, because there's a lot that's going on that's working against us. We won't cover all the things, but if you know, you know.
Yes, yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So let me read the
I
comments.
always,
Yeah, go
oh
for it.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay, so it says, Tashi says, love you, sis. You've always stood in your truth. Truly admire that about you.
Oh, love you,
And
Tosh.
and then Stacy said, you know exactly what I needed to hear, Sabrina. I'm not even kidding. So yeah, Miss Stacy is coming on tomorrow as a guest, and she's a free birth doula. So where you,
Wow.
yeah, for real, like no doctors, no nothing. And she gets a lot of crap. Like there's a lot of people, haters, that are like, you're this, you're that, you need to be at the doctors, like, all this criticism and hate. So here you stand saying exactly what she needed to hear, of like, it doesn't
So,
matter. You got your haters, they're going to do their thing. You just get to
yeah.
stand in your truth.
Do you know what? While she's on topic,
Mm,
we may possibly get into a point in the near future
yep.
where her services will be so sought after.
Yep.
These people are going to be so sorry.
She
You
knows
know what
that.
I mean?
She
Her,
knows that. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, if anybody around knows a doula, like you better kiss her and hug her and thank her for
Mm-hmm.
what she does, because this is we're now shifting into natural. We're going
Yeah.
natural. We're tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I,
these natural birthing mamas are amazing. So
amazing.
we can find you at Alena Speaks Love on Facebook. And then lastly, what's the event that's going on next week in Altea, at Altea Square for the
Oh
1,000
yeah.
children?
Okay, so there's two events. One is happening this Saturday. I can speak on the one that's happening next weekend.
Okay.
I know that one better. So that's
Okay.
Altea Square in the city at 12 p.m. And that's lifting the veil on crimes against children. So yeah, I've been advocate for many things. Ultimately, my messages, they come down to our children when I speak about freedom,
Yeah.
because they're the one that's gonna carry on, and lead the future for us. Our
Yeah.
lives, my life, doesn't matter as much as their life right now. That's how I
I
feel.
I literally think I'm getting emotional because I think of myself, even though I'm just living my life and living who I am. I think of myself in the future of what my great grandchildren are going to look back and read in their books and go, whoa, she was a badass. Like I have
Yeah,
a warrior spirit in my body. And thank goodness she did not bow down and be on her knees for the thing that's happening. And she took a stand and she stood boldly. And like maybe they have self-confidence stuff, that's happened in their life. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to channel my great great grandmother Sabrina. Like, and same thing for you. Like, this is for the kids. Like, do you guys want in the future for your great grandchildren to look back and see that you were wearing and complying with all the things?
yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
Dustin, he was even at the point where he's like, I don't even know that this next generation is going to be able to have kids that make us grandparents. And I was like,
Yeah,
whew,
that made
that's
me
next
sad
level.
too. Yeah, yeah,
Terrible. So it's like, we have to stand. Like, what
do.
doing?
Really do. We really do. And I think that the other thing is, while we're standing and while we're fighting for what's right, don't forget to breathe and smile and know that you're loved and that this life, it's short. We're here for a reason. Every single person on this planet has a purpose, and you have to let yourself be the purpose.
Mm-hmm. I
You
like
are the
that.
reason.
Let yourself, I gotta write this down. Hold on.
Yeah.
Be the purpose. Okay.
Yeah, totally. And when you do that, then you can accept how wonderful you are. And then after you accept that, then you can make change. Then we can start
And
acting from the heart.
yeah, exactly. And I love that you said, breathe and smile. My way of transmuting all things is laughter. I just
Yeah.
I
You
embody
make me laugh.
laughter. Everybody comments on the laughter and the smile. And I just love that. That's the effect I am having on people, is just my noisy throat.
Yes,
Makes
yes.
people laugh. I'm like, oh, cool. I just like love it.
I think I've laughed more because I'm around you. And
Yeah.
so, because I'm quite like, I
Curious.
flowy. Yeah. And I'm just like, I can be quite serious if I don't catch myself. So when I hear you laugh, I'm like, oh, like I'm
It's
feeling
contagious.
giggly.
Hey, it's a good contagion. I'm okay
Yeah.
with being a laugh box that
Yep.
shares. All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate connecting with you, just like in life, in our project that we're doing, and then just here. And I really hope that more people connect with you, because you are just such a blessing and a gift to the world. So love
Love
you.
you so much. Thank you.
You are welcome.
All right.
How do I stop this? I do this every time.